We hope you saw the 16 strikes in that first match won by Voss, 258 to Steve Wunderlich's 248. 8 for each bowler. Voss the winner, now going against the experienced, the veteran, last week's winner, Joe Berardi. This is the Quaker State Open, our second match, head-to-head live from Grand Prairie.
And Chris, as you noted, nobody has ever come from the number 5 position to win this tournament. Voss obviously off to a good start with a 258, has 3 very tough opponents to get through first to win the defend its title.
A 7 on the left lane.
A hit that the pros usually carry. They come in with that power and that good wrist action, take that 5-pin and throw it over towards the 7-pin. High percentage hit for pro bowlers, not to be, as Brian Voss opens the first frame, second match.
Spare for Voss, who won the first match over Steve Wunderlich, 258 to 248. Joe Berardi, 33 years old, 7 titles, Firestone, Masters, United States Open. Sliding by, and we have a neat one to shoot at. 1, 2, 4, 10. And this is the tip of the week, Bo, that we'll see a little bit later.
The 1, 2, 4, 10. What Joe has to do is get the ball to the left side of the head pin, drive the head pin into the 10. It looks pretty close.
So we start out for Joe Berardi, Bo's tip of the week. But for Berardi, it's that thing you don't want, an open frame.
Especially against an opponent who is as cool and red hot as Brian Voss. But a lot of frames to go. Berardi won last week the AC Delco Classic. And when a player has won a previous tournament, Chris, he's always nice and loose. As you see the 4.5-step delivery of Berardi, shoulder high swing. Look at the position of that left hand as he pulls his left shoulder back, his right shoulder through, follow through, and pretty good shot. He just played the lane wrong.
And didn't get a break on the left lane either, leaving the 7-pin. 32nd television appearance for Joe Berardi.
We talked about the 5-pin going in front of the 7-pin, but the ball enters the 1-3 pocket, drives into the 5, just misses the 7, and Berardi just drills it on the spare shot.
What a week we had last week. Coming from the number 3 position, defeating Mark Roth, Pete Weber, and Walter Ray Williams. Now, there's a handful. Voss looking for his 4th title. 5th make it.
Bachelor Brian Voss, really, really a well-trained professional bowler. Good style.
Okay. Big strike in the second frame for Brian Voss, who is a sports fan, including college basketball. And if you are, we invite you to join us tomorrow right here on ABC for this doubleheader. Michigan at Indiana, Temple at UNLV. Begins at 2 Eastern and Pacific, 1 Central.
Now Brian Voss to take a 21-pin lead if he can strike.
I believe that's his 4th 10 on the left lane, something like that.
Correct. The 10-pin has just not fallen for Brian Voss. A couple of them were solid 10s. That time he sent the ball a little bit wide. It failed to break at the proper position on the lane, approximately 45 feet down the lane, 15 feet from the head pin. The result is what we call the half 10. Voss been a little bit shaky on the 10-pin covers, but hasn't missed one yet.
Okay. Now the winner of our second game that you're watching now will go against Mark Roth. Then the tournament leader, a non-winner named Bob Benoit.
Joe Berardi, good all-around athlete, participated in the ABC Sports Superstars program 1982, did very well. Very strong for a thin young man. That
high hit left him the 6-10 on the right lane.
What's happened to Berardi here in the early going is he was a little bit relaxed. I think that victory last week kind of made him not tuned up or not psyched up enough for today's championship round. He has to get his act together and make the adjustment on this lane.
There you see the money winners thus far. This is our 4th telecast, and Emletta Monticelli, who won, and Joe Berardi, who won last week, and Walter Ray Williams, who seems to be a fixture on our telecasts. Not this week, but Brian's going to add to his total, as of course will Wunderlich.
Bob Benoit has not cashed yet. He's our tournament leader.
Oh, satisfying strike in the 4th frame on the left lane for Joe Berardi, trailing by 13 against Brian Voss. More after this.
Bowling's best at the $200,000 Don Carter's Greater New Orleans Classic next Saturday on ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour.
The gentleman from Oil City, Pennsylvania, who will be presenting the trophy and the check later, Earl Swift, Vice President of Marketing, and his wife Jerry here, and we're glad that they came here the 12th year that Quaker State has sponsored the event. Leading by 13 with a spare up. This is the 4th frame for the first game winner, Brian Voss. The 7, Voss winning the first game 258 to Steve Wunderlich's 248.
The man who caught a lot of good breaks really against Steve Wunderlich in the first match, tripping the 4-pin, has made a slight adjustment on the approach to the left to keep his ball a little lighter in the pocket. So far it hasn't panned out for him. He's left a 7-pin in the first frame, 10 in the third, and once again a 7 in the 4th frame.
Just covered the 7-pin. He told us earlier how he made the final 24, and then a matter of qualifying here for this and all the tournaments.
And here how he got through. He started very slow, 6-game block, and his 18-game qualifiers, qualified 22nd, just snuck into the round, then really charged in the 4th and 5th and 6th rounds of 24-game match play. Now he has a 12-pin lead over Berardi, 5th frame.
And then disaster hit Brian Voss on the left lane. He'll be looking at the 4, 6, 7, 10. Byron, Bo, what do we do here?
Big trouble. He can either go after the 6 and 10 and try to bounce him out of the pit or slide it across. A very tough shot. He'll use extra speed. Look at this. Look at this. Oh! You know, Chris, I've only seen that made one time. Sam Macarone made it while bowling in the match play finals of Las Vegas tournament 2 weeks ago. He did it by sliding across. I like the way that Brian Voss attacked it, just bouncing it out. But Berardi leads by 4. He gained that lead sitting on the bench, has a strike up in the 4th, can extend his lead to 14 with a strike.
And the boy from Brooklyn leaves the 7-pin looking at his right hand.
A lesson to be learned by what Berardi's going through as you see his action on the right-hand lane. He was light in the first frame on this lane. Then he made the adjustment to the right and went high, leaving the 6-10, moved half the difference, and almost got a strike.
Look at 23 or 24-mile-an-hour speed when he shoots spares. Good crack 60 feet away when they collide.
Berardi pounding that rosin on his bowling ball. PBA regulations say you must wipe it off. You can leave nothing on the surface of your ball that will increase the roll or come off onto the lane surface. So Berardi, 4-pin lead, 6 frame. See how it works.
There's a mixer that he wanted. Earlier we had a chance to talk to Joe Berardi about his bowling hand.
Well, the only way to alleviate it is to stop bowling, and that's not too lucrative for me. You know, I have to realize that I've actually bowled 2 league seasons in 3 weeks. But because of the friction, the heat, it causes my hand to tear and to rip. So I just have to live with it. I guess you could call it an occupational hazard.
Meanwhile, Brian Voss shooting in the 6th frame after an open leaves the 6-10.
With Brian Voss, simply this. He was all pumped up against Steve Wunderlich. has calmed down somewhat, but he's slowed his ball speed down. One of the keys, that we say it every week, is to maintain an even ball speed. Voss was 18 to 19 miles an hour the first game. Now he's slowed down 16, 17. The ball's drifting high on him. Look out. Oh!
Trying to win back-to-back Quaker State Opens. Now he has back-to-back open frames, 92 through 6.
As you see Voss's ball sliding by the 6 and 10 pins, just chipping off the 10-pin. Voss trails by 15. And Brian Voss last night didn't have the luxury of watching the match between Steve Wunderlich and Tom Kreitz on this very pair. Tom Kreitz stuck in that very same spot on lane 40 last night on the approach, fouled, and allowed Wunderlich to come up in the top 5. It has happened to Voss here today.
And then to add further misery, Nelson.
Pretty close hit, Chris, but once again, the 4-9 split, an apparent good hit. Now, he was tripping that 4-pin out before, but now he needs to slide that 4 over into the 9 to keep any type of pressure on Joe Berardi.
Three open frames, disastrous for the first game winner, Brian Voss. Oh, yeah. A resounding strike. And are we delighted to go back to the Greater New Orleans area next week for the Don Carter Greater New Orleans Open. Well, we haven't done a telecast there since 1978. And I've missed hearing Pete Fountain, believe me.
Aha, your good friend, Pete Fountain. Hope he can come out next weekend.
Oh, he will.
I missed the crawfish, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
And the lovely people down there. As you see Berardi coming up in the 8th, 36-pin lead, can extend to 46 pins. He would have a commanding edge over Voss if he can strike here.
Ten-pin on the left lane. Look at that long, hard look. At Debbie's husband, Joe Berardi. Parents of 2 expecting twins, and Debbie Wilp is resting after a short stay in the hospital this week, Bill.
She had a little virus behind the lungs, I understand. It's got it all straightened out.
Good.
Berardi knew that that 10-pin in the 8th frame could have been the coup de grace. Now he has given Voss a chance. Beefcake, as they call him. The centerfold of the PBA Tour needs strikes right here to have any chance.
Boy, he accepts the challenge. Brian Voss. You know, you can read body language, facial expressions. Not on Voss. You can Berardi. You can just tell what Berardi's thinking, feeling, but Voss? Now. Nice foundation strike for Joe Berardi. There's emotions coming on, cheering himself on, and why not?
And with that strike, he assured himself of a victory over Brian Voss. The scoreboard tells the story. Berardi, even with an open frame, would be in the 180s. The best Voss can do is 170. Once again, we're going to have a match like last week, Berardi and Mark Roth.
Roommates, the Brooklyn pair. It's a 10-pin for the winner of our first game, Joe Berardi, or second game, eliminating Brian Voss. He'll next go against Mark Roth. It's time now for our Old Spice tip for the week. Here it is.